Hey everybody, thanks for joining in. I want to talk about the upcoming games, the past few games that we didn't get a chance to discuss. The Bills game against Pittsburgh and the Eagles game against Tampa Bay Bucks just the other night. I think it was on Monday. They're on Monday. But before I get into anything talking about the games, I just want to remind everybody, if you can please hit that like button after you watch the video, if you like it at all, if you enjoy it, and please subscribe to my channel afterwards. It helps me out a lot when you do that, and I do appreciate the comments I get and the views that I do get. I appreciate them so much, I can't tell you. So with all that being said, let's talk about the games coming up this weekend, because to me, there's some interesting matchups. Let's go on ahead with the first game, which is Saturday at 4:30, and that's Houston at Baltimore. Now, this is going to be the Ravens' first game because they had the bye week on account of they were the number one seed in the AFC and everything. And the Texans are coming off a big win. It was an impressive win to me against Cleveland. I mean, I was kind of up in the air with that game. I thought Houston might win, but I didn't think they were going to kill Cleveland Browns like they did. They really just were just all over them. C.J. Stroud just proving that he is the future of that team and the quarterback of the future. So a great game for them. With that being said, let's talk about the Ravens now. The Ravens game is going to be tougher. That's going to be tougher than the Cleveland game, I believe. I don't see Houston walking through this game and just beating the Ravens up. Lamar Jackson is just playing at a MVP level. He may very well be the MVP of the league this year. And the Ravens at home, they're good. They're well coached. They're a strong team on offense and defense. I don't think the Texans are going to be able to handle them like they did Cleveland. So Stroud, I think, is still going to have a good game. But I think Lamar, with his running and his improved passing that he's had over the past season or so, he's really just an improved quarterback, improved leader of that team. So if I have to say that I think the Ravens are going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think, really, if you want my opinion, I don't think any of the games this weekend are going to be blowouts. I think they're all going to be fairly close games. But I think at the end of the day, the Ravens are going to outlast Houston. They're going to probably win this game. I would say somewhere along the lines of maybe 27-17, 27-14, maybe somewhere along those lines. But I think the Ravens are going to pull this one out. Excuse me. Now, let's move on to the other game Saturday. That's 8:15 Saturday night. That's the Packers at 49ers. Now, another game here I don't think is going to be a blowout. I think the 49ers are going to win this ball game. I don't know. I don't know if Green Bay can do what they did against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I tell you right now, I couldn't believe it. The way Dallas fell apart and just almost like just gave up in that game. It was just crazy. It was just crazy win for the Packers. I mean, they just destroyed them. So I don't think Jordan Love is going to have that kind of a game against San Fran. San Fran's got just an awesome defense. Brock Purdy, another year that this kid has just proven he's no fluke. He's leading that team. Everybody kind of has been waiting on him to just say, oh, he was a flash in the pan. You know, he had a good season. He's been okay, but he's just showing to me, in my opinion, too, he's another MVP candidate. I think Lamar Jackson probably edges him out, but Brock Purdy is no joke, folks. He's not a flash in the pan. This kid is good, and he's going to be good for a long time. Now, Jordan Love in that game that he had against Dallas, he was flawless. And I said, even in my last video, I said I thought Jordan Love was just going to be Packers. They moved on from Rodgers. They're not going to get another franchise quarterback after Favre and Rodgers. But you know what? I was wrong. I think they have. That kid looks good. He's on the money. He's tough, and he knows how to play. He knows how to throw. He's great. I just don't think this is the Packers' time to beat the 49ers. 49ers defense is too stout. It's too stacked. They're too tough to score on. And Purdy playing the way he's at, like I say, an MVP level. I think the 49ers are going to win this ball game too. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. I'm thinking the 49ers maybe win it 17-10, somewhere 17-7, somewhere in that area. That's my guess. Now let's go on to Sunday's game. The first game is 3 o'clock, Tampa Bay at Detroit. Wow, I want to talk about that. First of all, I want to talk about that Tampa Bay Philadelphia game just the other day. I couldn't believe how the Eagles. You talk about an epic meltdown, an epic collapse. Well, this is one. We're talking about a team who started at 10-1. Everybody was putting them in the Super Bowl and winning winning the number one seed in the NFC, easily winning the NFC East over the Cowboys and the Giants, who none of Washington, who none of those guys were ever, with the exception of Dallas, were ever going to win the division. But either way, you talk about a team that just collapsed, and I don't want to take anything away from Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. Baker Mayfield played like lights out in that game. I mean, this guy, I think, has rebirthed his career. He probably is going to end up getting an extension in Tampa, and I believe that he should. It was an awesome game by the Bucs. They just dismantled the Eagles' defense. The Bucs' defense wouldn't let Jalen Hurts. They could do nothing in that game, and I couldn't believe how. I really thought that the Eagles could probably win that game. I think I was kind of leaning toward Tampa anyway, just because we all saw the Eagles have been just falling apart. I mean, they've been falling apart like a cheap suit the last 6-7 games. And here they are. They just had an epic meltdown, epic fail. What a collapse. And good for the Bucs. Congratulations on that victory. But let me tell you, they handled the Eagles. That game was never in question from the first drive. There was no way, myself watching that game, I thought that the Eagles were going to win this ball game. You could just see it. You just knew it. But anyway, that being said, they got the Detroit Lions, who, by the way, won their first home game, playoff game in like 30 years. Yeah, they were going crazy during that game when they beat the Rams. What a win for Detroit, the city of Detroit, the team, the coaching staff, just awesome. I'm glad to see Jared Goff getting a new start on his life, his career with the Detroit Lions. And I think the Lions, at the end of the day, are going to win this ball game too. Once again, I don't think it's going to be a whipping. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Bucs are going to be riding high off that victory. But the Lions aren't the Eagles. The Lions have not collapsed this season. They've had a game or two here where they got beat and they played like shit. But at the end of the day, they are not collapsing. This is going to be a tough team to beat at home in Detroit. I don't think Tampa Bay can. I think Goff is going to outlast Baker Mayfield. I think the Lions defense is better than the Bucs defense, certainly better than the Eagles defense. I don't think they're going to have their way with Detroit at home. It's going to be a crazy crowd. Detroit at home is going to win this ball game. I'm going to say probably maybe somewhere around 30-20, somewhere in that area, 21 maybe, somewhere in that area. But the Lions will win this ball game. And the final game of the weekend, to me, is the most interesting one. It's the Chiefs traveling to Buffalo to play the Bills. Now, before I go into that game, I want to talk about the Bills' victory against the Steelers. I'm not taking anything away from it. A win is a win. If it was the Jets, I'd be happy the Jets won. If it was anybody else, I'd be happy they won. But I'm looking at the game from an outside view because I'm not a fan of any of these teams in the playoffs. I don't really give a shit who wins these games. I just want to see good football. I want to see good officiating, fair officiating. But that win against the Pittsburgh Steelers Buffalo had was, to me, it wasn't that impressive. I mean, they beat them. Yes, like I said, a win's a win. But don't forget for 1 second, they were playing a Pittsburgh team that were the 7th seed. They were playing without T.J. Watt, who arguably is the best pass rusher in the NFL, and a third-string quarterback. Nothing against Mason Rudolph. The kid played good down the stretch. He's a competent backup quarterback, but he is a third-string quarterback, and the Bills beat a third-string quarterback and a team without the best pass rusher in the league out that game. And they still didn't beat them badly. They had a couple of calls the officials gave them toward the end when they were making their last drive, got their last score. Don't get me wrong, that had nothing to do with why the Bills won. They're going to win that ball game anyway, but I wasn't too impressed by their victory. And I know the weather was shitty and the snow and it was cold and all that crap. I get it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the beatdown that I think most people think maybe it should have been. And going back to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs have been very suspect all year. There's been games when I believe they should have lost. If they didn't have some official calls that kind of went their way, that kind of tilted the scale toward them, I believe they would have lost a couple more games than they did. But that being said, it's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still a great ball player. They can find a way to win. They can stop dropping balls. I think they led the NFL in drop passes this year, the Chiefs. So that's not too impressive at all. That's not going to cut it. They're going to Buffalo is going to be so much different for them because they're so used to playing at home. The Chiefs always got the home field. Well, this time they don't. They got to go to Buffalo, and it is tough to play there. There is no question. The fans are rowdy. The stadium is going to be loud. It's probably going to be cold and shitty and snowy again. So I think we're going to be in for another crazy game. However, I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think both these teams are going to probably score in the 30s. But at the end of the day, I do believe this. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I think the Chiefs are going to somehow edge this game out. There's just something about Josh Allen. I know he's great, and everybody just gushes, especially Tony Romo. He can't stop gushing over the guy when he throws an incompletion. You know, it's the best incompletion he's ever seen. I don't know how that's possible. But either way, that's neither here nor there. I want to say that every time I watch this kid play, let's not forget, I think he led the NFL in turnovers. I know he was right up there at the top in pickoffs and fumbles. So he gives the ball away. He didn't do it the other game. Maybe he did throw one interception. I can't remember. But let's not forget, he has that tendency to fumble when he shouldn't, throw a pick when he shouldn't. And Mahomes doesn't. He does once in a while, but not to that level. I think, my opinion now is this. I think the Chiefs are going to somehow edge out this ball game. I think it's going to be, they're both, like I said, I think they're both going to score in the 30s. This may be a 37-31 game. This may be even a 39 or 40 to 35, something like that. I think both teams are going to get on the scoreboard. I don't think the weather's going to stop them too much, however that's going to be in Buffalo. But something tells me that at the end of the day, Josh Allen's going to throw this game. He's going to throw a pick. He's going to fumble. He's going to be trying to make something happen like he always does, and it's going to cost the Bills the game. That's just what I think. Like I say before, either way, I'm not a fan of either team. I don't care who wins. It's just how I see it. What I see in the past and how it manages to somehow just mess up. I think Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to edge this one out in a close, high-scoring battle. But I do believe that at the end of the day, they're going to win the ball game. So my predictions for the AFC NFC Championship games are clear because I just told you who I think is going to win. In the NFC, I believe it's going to be the 49ers and Lions. That game will be played in San Francisco, unless I'm mistaken. And I think the AFC Championship game will be Kansas City and Baltimore. They definitely go to Baltimore. And I think those are going to be the final four for the NFL Championship games, which are coming up in a couple of weeks. So let me know what you guys think. If you got any comments, you just disagree with what I say, you have your own ideas, let me know. Leave a comment below. And like I said before, please hit the like button if you enjoyed my video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel on your way out. It helps me out a great deal. And I'm looking forward to the games like everybody else is. And we'll either talk before the games or right after the games. So enjoy them. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.